Hello everybody and welcome back to my Atomic Heart playthrough. Where last time, so apparently the code's been extracted from Petrov. We faced off against Dewdrop, and we did it all in one go.
Hey, what you doing? Are you being that bastard that hasn't subscribed yet? Well, why don't you join one of us that have subscribed? As well as that, you might as well tune down into the description down below, where I have a new subreddit called r/RealmHQ. Other than that, back to your regularly scheduled program.
Also, I swapped out my shoddy for a
I don't see Larissa's body, so she must have gotten past the Trophus.
Clash off. It's so far alright, I need to aim more. But yeah, alright. Is there anything behind here? No. There's interesting something out there, but... yeah, so there was a dead whale, and there's a robot that was essentially a hydraulic robot. And it burst out and attempted to kill us. Oh, yeah. It apparently should relatively be safe to travel across the land now.
A lighthouse, huh? So where is she? Larissa! Freaking critters, you around here somewhere?
I do not detect anyone in the vicinity.
Let's take a look around. She's gotta be here.
Do you trust Dr. Filatova?
I don't trust anyone.
Yeah.
But she's got something important to tell me. And I'm sure Dr. Sechenov is hiding something.
Has Dr. Sechenov ever told you about his plans?
Not really. I mean, he's never really had to, but now this whole thing with Petrov, Jellyman killed Stock and the boss didn't even bat an eye. Is the launch of Collective really so important he can't even delay it out of respect for the dead?
I have no data on this topic, Comrade Major.
No data, huh? Well, I don't have any data either. So let's go get some.
Yeah. Let's save real quick.
Getting data.
Then we gotta go up. Kind of interesting, because I think we're really close to the end of the game. Which is getting very interesting. Ah, I thought that was gonna work. Doesn't seem to be anyone in here. Oh, we can make the large the meds. That's good. Stuff on the outside.
When they told me that my lighthouse was gonna be ripped out of the ground and brought from Sakhalin to Kazakhstan by the robots, I figured they were drunk. But nope. It's thousands of kilometers away from the ocean now. Like a museum exhibit. And I'm here too. Like another exhibit. Now sure, I got a raise. Sure, I barely have to do any work. The machines do everything. The Lighthouse and I are just a confirmation that humanity can do whatever it wants. But what the fuck are they guarding with all those flying guns everywhere? Huh?
I don't know, that's the way forward. I want any way that isn't forward. That's usually where all the loot is. Okay. I don't like the fact there's blood there. Did she take her life? We can make the electro. That's good. I think she might have. Yeah, she's not in here.
What do we have here? A chair and a TV? This isn't what I was expecting.
What were you expecting? I suspect that this room has a specific function.
What do you mean a specific function? Am I just supposed to sit down? Wait.
I believe that the unscheduled acceleration was caused by the elevator access system being hacked. Otherwise, Dr. Filatova would not have been able to initiate it.
So she hacked the system.
Oh,
Kinda like how all
no.
these poor bastards got hacked to bits.
What? Why are we in
So
Bioshock?
that's Neptune, huh? Looks nice. Actually, it looks amazing. A rapture. I wouldn't mind spending some time there myself. But I can't even imagine what's going on there right now.
Comrade Sechenov asked you to return to Chelomey. How will you explain this delay?
We can deal with that. Let's talk to the doc first. But if she tries to take off again, she's gonna regret it. I'm sick of playing cat and mouse with her.
As long as there's no large squid that shows up, I think we'll be fine. Or worse, big daddies. No, I think this is definitely a what is it? I think that was definitely a tribute, especially the raptor. Hey, you're alive. Sorry, I thought you took your life because there was blood. You
What
good?
are we doing here? What do you want?
Just hear me out, P3. Let me try to give you a different perspective, and then you can decide how to handle things. Do you know how Sechenov is planning to use Collective? What he's going to do with it?
He's gonna
After
enslave the
Collective
world.
launches, people will be able to control robots with their minds, and they won't be able to stab each other in the back anymore. Sounds nice.
I used to think that way too. But that's not how things really are. Collective isn't just about controlling robots. Sechenov will be able to control everyone who's a part of Collective. Collective is diabolical, Nechayev.
Yeah.
It's even worse than slavery.
Bullshit. It's just the same old chain of command, but on a virtual network. What's so awful
You
about
can't
that?
say no.
Come on, see for yourself.
I've got questions.
Oh, I think I know why. Okay. So I kind of just realized. Okay, so P3 hasn't been said anything about possible control of the mind. The thought devices aren't. They're just seen as essentially an interface. They're not seen as anything else. I've been thinking that, again, it's been obvious that they're going to control people. It's not. It's kind of really not obvious. P3 is operating under the idea that, as far as he's concerned, the Thought and the Thought 2.0 are just so you could control stuff. But I think the main reason why I jumped into aspect they're going to enslave the world is because of the fact the Collective is really like every time they describe it, essentially it sounds like a simulation, which is fun. But anyway, basically they're tending to become Cybermen from Doctor Who of all things. But anyway,
Where are we?
This is the Academy of Consequences, the facility's memory, analytics center, and primary archive. The activities of all the other complexes are studied here in order to draw conclusions and generate probability matrices.
Get to the point.
The Academy has a number of interesting departments. For example, there's the Radio of the Future. By mathematically combining shortwave and quantum echoes, we can predict the music people will be listening to 50 or even 80 years into the future. But there's another very special department here called Polymerized Subject Behavioral Psychology. They're supposed to be volunteers, but...
How'd you get in here? Why didn't the Drofus stop you?
I work here. Well, I used to. Only Sechenov can revoke my access. And he's got his hands full right now. And I'm no threat to him.
Get to the point. And no more grenades or other bullshit. Any funny business at all and I'll kill you. This is your last warning.
Sure, fine. Come on, I won't waste your time.
Okay, lead on.
You won't waste it. I will, because I'm gonna fucking be searching everywhere. No, it's not really anything. In I go! And that's usually ladies first, but I don't really care. As far as I can tell, that lady just threw a grenade at me earlier. So.
Well, are you ready? Disable polarization.
Oh shit, that's actual people.
The fuck is this place? A haunted house or something?
It's a tomb of the mind. The volunteers who lay the foundation for Collective. The first few groups of subjects all died. Group 30 went insane. Group 73 killed themselves. Group 101 killed each other. Group 204 was the most successful. They all survived. Their consciousness is now in an imaginary world. We call it Limbo. And their bodies are here, under my complete control. Want me to make them do something?
Why?
To show that I'm not lying?
Whatever. Line them up.
Keep going.
The fat guy. Tell him to jump. He could use it.
Just him? Why don't I make them all jump? After all, we all live in a communist society. Goddamn you, jump!
It's really weird because they're all
This is
individual.
insane.
Yeah.
Why do you people even do this shit? Fuck. Poor bastards.
No, that's where you're wrong. Chemically speaking, they're all perfectly happy. That's what Collective is all about. The entire world will be just like
Why would
this.
Sechenov want to turn everyone into a bunch of idiots? Was he trying to make fun of the world by making people run around naked
No,
and act
he
like animals?
wants to control it.
No. We were able to prevent the degradation of individual consciousness. Memories, behavior, speech patterns are all preserved. But there's one thing they won't be able to avoid. The complete loss of their free will.
Yeah.
We gotta stop this.
Stop this. That's what Victor was trying to do. You got in his way, and now it's too late.
Your boyfriend lost his mind and killed people. He tried to tell me Sechenov taught the robots to kill during the design phase.
He did.
Why would Boss do that?
Why? Why did he design Collective to be a mind control system? Why does he need those special neurocontrollers? Sechenov wants to enslave the entire world. I'm sorry, but if you don't understand that, you're an idiot!
Is that gonna set off the eyes?
The boss would never do that.
He would, and he will. On Monday.
All this is really hard to swallow. But I'll help you. Whatever you're planning, I'm in.
You're willing to turn on Sechenov?
After what you just showed me? Yeah. I want to hear what he's got to say.
P1, P2, P3. Your mind is
A man can be repaired.
What? What
Oh
was
no,
that?
my
What's wrong?
eyes.
Nothing. I'm just digesting what I saw. Why did you help me?
Perhaps because I care. And besides, it's not about you. Well, not only you.
If you worked here, then why didn't you try to stop this?
I thought it was for the best. I thought it was for the good of the entire Soviet Union. But when I realized what was really going on, I had to bide my time, wait for the right moment. Victor and I risked everything and... you know the rest.
Fine, moving on.
The test subject is not leaving limbo. Inject neurotransmitters.
Hey, Major.
I'm fine. My head's been killing me lately. I've been seeing things. This is one hell of a job, let me tell you.
It won't hurt, Soldier. You won't even remember.
Yeah, it is Charles. I just realized that's his voice.
Hallucinations are serious business. Well, I am a neurosurgeon. I can probably help, if everything ends well.
No thanks. A little vacation will fix me right up. I mean,
I knew it.
if this all ends well.
It was Charles.
Fine.
Listen, about Victor,
What? Did you have no choice? You couldn't have acted differently? Will you now tell me that you're sorry? What?
I am sorry.
Well, I'm not. I should be, but Victor... No other outcome was possible. It wasn't even quite him at that point. I don't want to talk about it.
I just don't feel comfortable around these people.
Huh, well, just you wait. Soon this is gonna happen all over the Soviet
is it
Union,
gonna do?
and
Just-
later the whole world. Then you'll see all people stripped of their free will.
You know, free will doesn't guarantee that a person won't be a scumbag.
What? Are you justifying atrocities?
Atrocities? What atrocities? If they're volunteers, coming here was their choice. It's got nothing to do with me.
You're a monster!
Affirmative. That's enough. I'm too busy to chat right now.
Very well. Enjoy the view.
Wait, what? Okay, that was definitely interesting. You gonna shut the door on me? Not really a door to shut, but... The bottle. Are you trying to make me look at her crotch? Can't I loot? What it? Okay, you are definitely gonna turn on me. Or something.
Resist, my darling. Resist.
Ah, fuck. I'm so sick of these goddamn hallucinations.
Do you see colorful spots before your eyes? Does your perception of the world change?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know what this shit is?
You were crossing into limbo, but it can't be stopped. How did you interrupt it?
I don't know. It's like that lump of polymer is calling out to me. A big, teardrop-shaped one. Right there, straight above us. Do you see it?
There's nothing there.
What do you mean? I'm looking right at it. Oh crap, now it's gone.
It's a hallucinatory reaction, a side effect of the surgery you underwent. The reaction of a damaged brain to the presence of a neuropolymer implant.
What are you even talking about? What implant?
Did Sechenov not tell you? So you don't know what's happening to you?
No.
Charles, do you know what's happening with my head?
I am not detecting any internal changes, Major. But your Voskhod polymer extension is clearly receiving an unidentified stream of external data.
What's that interface? Who are you talking to?
It's a chatting artificial librarian, an AI in my polymer glove. It doesn't matter. Charles, what are you talking about?
Charles?
Wait, Charles, what data? What Voskhod polymer extension?
The Voskhod polymer extension was developed using data from experiments conducted by Dmitri and
Yes.
myself.
What? Yourself? And why are you calling Dr. Sechenov Dmitri? Who are you?
He's Zarkov.
Comrade Major, this will be difficult to explain.
He got data
I am
absorbed.
Charles, why the fuck are you all staticky? What the hell is going on?
Keep it together, Major. If what I'm thinking is true, I should be able to access the archive right now. There will be records about you.
Stay
State your name and personal access code.
Crispy critters.
Invalid name.
Fine, I'll hack in.
Not so fast. Name Cheriton Zaharov. Code Fluffy.
Code accepted. Access
Charles.
granted.
Charles, are you there?
Oh, fuck.
Nothing?
Nothing. So, what is Charles then?
Long story short, your Charles is Professor Cheriton Zaharov.
Huh, that was short. So how could he be Zaharov?
Because he got
Professor
data
Zaharov
transferred.
was developing the collective subsystems and worked on the module. The one you have inside you. They told us he ran a number of experiments on himself. The result was disastrous and unpredictable.
On himself? Was he an idiot or something?
Oh, he certainly wasn't an idiot. Zaharov was a misanthrope obsessed with science. I don't think he cared about what happened to his body all that much.
So when did you realize that Charles is Zaharov?
Just about right now, when he went offline. I had no idea Sechenov had stashed his consciousness into your glove. It was the abbreviation Charles that tipped me off.
Yeah.
So Charles isn't a person anymore. Just a device.
I don't know, I guess he is. Except this device is based on the logical paradigm and experience of one of the brightest Soviet geniuses.
So why does Sechenov want him?
Because Sechenov never dismisses what he can use. It's easier for him to change everything to fit his needs. I guess you noticed this already. What's funny is that you seem to have made friends with your glove.
Well, we've been through a lot. I've got feelings, you know, being alive and all. So does he.
Did.
How can you talk about this so calmly?
To me, Cheriton Radionovich died a long time ago. I'm done mourning him. And besides, I'm a scientist. We're more impassionate towards death than to muddling one's brains.
So, how do we get in?
Only a small bunch of people have permanent access to the archive. Sechenov, Lebedev, the director of the Academy, and Zaharov. Like you reminded me.
Fluffy, huh? So what would we have done if the password hadn't worked?
I'm sure you would have smashed the door with your bare fists. But now Archivist thinks I am Dr. Zaharov, so we got lucky. And now we can learn everything about you. Let's go.
Okay.
Welcome, Cheriton Zaharov. What is the subject of your query today?
I can't even.
Agent P3, personal file.
Your search returned 42 audio records.
So, which one do you want first?
I couldn't care less.
Then pick one at random.
First, I gotta loot this place. I kinda am hoping the game has a New Game Plus mode. It'd be really nice to transfer all the stuff I did. Especially if I could take another crack at some of the bosses. I know the Baylash, the... what is it? Damn Hedgie, I would really like to just smack around and actually get the achievement for it. At the very least, I would like the progress to be saved so I don't have to worry. Alright, let's see. Everything I can see. Is that all? There's another thing. Oh, I guess I didn't get all of this. Alright. Well, so she said just start wherever, right? Yeah, okay. Let me read through all these damn computers, see what there is. Ah, we're gonna have fun with this. Okay, doubts. As you know, I'm extremely old, and believe me, as a man who has, as a man who has dedicated his entire life to this science of life itself, no one is more surprised by this than me. What I have to say is that the education, or the seduction of longevity, which I am subject to, and to which I have no doubt any living being would similarly have pursued, now seems monstrous to me. Back then, when I first met Dimitri as a patient on his operating table, I could never have imagined I might feel weighed down by the burden of life, the life he worked so hard to save. No, my friend, there is no joy in a long life, much less an eternal one. Like a shark living in icy waters for half a millennia, I am now swimming in the incessant flow of life, able to only observe the achievements of colleagues whose names I can barely recall, trying to remember those who came before and whose names are lost forever to history. The lengthy foreword leads me to my conclusion, Comrade Nikta, whatever it is. Your request to undergo life-extending procedures is officially denied. Please do not pursue this matter any further. Report. Let's see, there was a good chunk of pigs. Experimental dent, individual data. This, I'm pretty sure. Oh, wow. Breeding error. 4 euthanized, 1 use. Oh, that's fun. Cats. God, there's a lot. 0 rejected. There was a female who was transferred to the theater. Okay, troubling issue. Vivisection is a cruel procedure that is just considered unethical. When I begin an experiment that will result in the death of an animal, I feel a profound sense of regret at cutting short an exuberant life and acting as the executioner of a living being. When I cut into and violate a living animal, I must smother within myself the biting reproach that I am, and with my coarse and disrespectful hand, breaking a machine of transcendent artistry. But I do this in the pursuit of truth to help my fellow man. However, in recent years, I have begun to suspect that certain similar experiments are being conducted at my complex, without my knowledge, of course. Not on animals, but on the fellow man myself, or himself. Due to my frailty and heretic schedule, I have been unable to confirm these suspicions, for which reason I request you immediately send me any archival information about such acts transpiring on the premises. Needless to say, if this practice does in fact exist, I mean to nip it in the bud. Confidential. You know that Comrade Pavlov has been a little anxious lately. I am aware that he keeps sending you requests for archival data on various projects from Pavlov, especially on the threshold of the launch of Collective 2.0. So I got a little request for you. Comrade Pavlov is, shall we say, getting on years. We should try to keep his worries to a minimum. He's a talented scientist, but he's becoming painfully sentimental in recent years. If you got any requests regarding complex issues, just stall him for a bit and tell me right away. I'll make it worth your while. Certain dissonance. Progress by leaps and bounds become typical of humanity in this challenging 20th century. Against the background of tremendous inequality, breakthroughs in science and technology can seem not just astonishing, but even insulting. But this is a sociological and political matter. Right now, I want to contemplate the issue of the individual feeling himself in a state of accelerated freefall is being flung forward faster and faster by progress. Much like pseudo-scientific fears voiced when the railroads were being built, when the suggestion was actually made that the sight of the landscape whizzing by 50 kilometers per hour would drive passengers mad, I am beset by similar predictions. Just 25 years ago, more than half of all Soviet citizens were illiterate. Today, we are flying to space. What awaits us tomorrow? Will we have time to catch our breath before our next, big leap?
As a young man, Plutonium, now P3, was confident and funny, which played a key role in his assignment to Argentum. He was a promising operative, but lagged behind many other candidates in a number of ways. However, the positive influence and infectious good humor he imparted to his fellow servicemen, especially in comparison to the more morose Commander Kuznetsov, served as a compelling reason to recruit him. Because of this, the emergence of a more intimate relationship between him and Agent Blesna was only a matter of time.
Okay. Deleted top secret chronology of the Zarkov incident. You don't understand me, or is it that you don't want to? Are you afraid of losing the man who will give you your brilliant future? No, I'm not particularly fond of the human race you love so dearly, but that's not the reason, Dmitri. I'm the only one who can sort out all the finer points from the inside. The implant can only be configured and analyzed within the subject's conscience. No test subject, whether it's a rat or even a human being, can perform this kind of research. You're preventing me from continuing my research. Okay, interesting. So hopefully the rest of these are just copies. No, fuck. Test deterring.
Yes, it's part of the experiment. You won't see anyone. Not me, not anyone else. Okay, subject. You will now have a conversation with two young women. Their names are Betsy.
That's me.
And Olga.
Hello.
I need you to talk to them and tell me which of the young ladies you spoke to is not a human being, but an artificially generated voice. Is that clear?
Yeah, sure. I get it.
You may begin.
So, Betsy, do you have any kids?
I'm afraid not. But I want to have two when I finish my internship in about 3 years or so.
Huh. Okay. And here's the last one. Olga, could you ever kill someone?
Me? I don't know. Maybe if they were an enemy or trying to hurt people. Yeah, I guess I could do it to protect the motherland.
Excellent. We're done here. So, which of the two young women you spoke with is a machine?
I want to say Betsy.
I think it's Betsy. Yes.
So, you think Olga is human?
That makes sense to me.
Please note that I never told you that either of them was human.
Both
so they're both machines?
Actually, none of the individuals you've spoken to during this experiment are human. Thank you for your time. Please escort the subject out.
That's kind of creepy. Raven 1, the Raven 1 satellite was launched in orbit, but we're immediately notified that it had malfunctioned. That's the official version anyway. The unofficial version is much more complicated. The plush samples on the orbiting satellite began to behave in a completely unexpected fashion in zero gravity and independently terminated communications with Earth. 2 years later, we're planning to send a remote control module disguised as another satellite to shed some light on these events. But until then, Raven 1 will be described as a failed, shuttered project in all official documents. Okay, from Sechenov. Plutonium is to be removed from Argentum. It will report directly to me. As for this linguistic oddity of his, leave it be. It will give him elements of a new personality, perform the necessary operations, install the module, and put him in the hospital room under surveillance. You can always turn a positive into a negative. Wait, what? Okay, that's interesting. About the article. God, there's so much. Okay. Here's my opinion on the article on the culture of instant messaging. All in all, I think it's well written. It's succinct, and it does a good job of explaining the concept of developing faster ways to transmit text. The comparison to mail, then the telegraph, then the telephone, and then finally the terminal system is quite good. However, your frivolous dalliance with depicting emotions via text seems entirely out of place, or even theatrical. How do you imagine people will use punctuation to fill a text-based message with emotional content? People still don't even understand the difference between a dash and a hyphen, or a comma and a semicolon. And you want them to start using these characters to communicate their mood? It's truly absurd. Get rid of it. I don't know about that. Then again, Reddit hates emojis, so... Exclamation point 3 times. Somebody. I read that you wrote about using a colon in parentheses to make a smiley face. It's a cute idea, but we'll never approve something like that. I think you're better off going in a different way. Remember how people used to abbreviate words in telegrams? Maybe if you wanted to show you're happy, you could write hap. And if you feel sad, you could just write sad. Think it over. XOXO Maria. Blah blah blah. Archived conversation 10. Dimitri, I read your plan to install me in a implantable module. I value your persistence, but I must repeat again, I have no desire for arms, legs, hair, or the need to waste time eating and going to the bathroom. I'm fine, Dimitri, but your weak-minded desire to anthropomorphize everything under the sun is making me uneasy. Instead of thinking about how to put me into the head of some muscle-bound member of the Communist Youth League, why don't you find a way to cast off the burden of your own aging flesh? Expert from Technology for Kids. From a comprehensive article from Technology of Kids. For kids, about the facility in the West, smart, educated people call us Homo Sovieticus. They're proud to have discovered this type of person, so they come up with a nice name. They also use this name to humiliate us, put us down. They don't realize we've done something more. We're the first to breed this type of person, but in the West, in the West, all they can do is come up with new words for things. And they think this contribution to history is much more important than our accomplishments. The West's high opinion of itself is deserving of ridicule. P.S. At Sechenov's request, find references to Homo Sovieticus throughout the entire database and change it to Homo Futurium in every instant. I think we did see something like that. Okay, how many terminals are there to fucking read? There's 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hopefully there's a... Fuck! They really aren't. Okay, fix this ASAP. I've gone over the materials for a Science and Life article, but in nature there is no competition within the same species, only among different species. A wolf eats a rabbit, but a rabbit doesn't eat another rabbit. It eats grass, nor does wheat get in the way of other wheat. But wheatgrass, saltbush, and sow thistle are all different species, so they can show up somewhere where wheat is growing. They can take its food and compete with it. Who wrote this nonsense? Are they trying to embarrass the entire Soviet Union with this crap? Yeah, I mean, there definitely is there is definitely competition within species. Complaint. Dear comrade, I am utterly stunned by your careless attitude to the censorship of material that has been published following your consultation in a number of periodicals. References to the complex as cut off from real life or having poor connection to our production facilities are simply false. Complex is first and foremost a scientific institution that operates according to a specific plan. Our theoretical work is bound up in most substantial ways with practical issues related to seed cultivation and the facility's future design. A man who would have to be blind to deny the enormous accomplishments our team has made in so little time, and under such trying circumstances. The Institute's research is laying the foundation necessary to develop a real-world project to conquer new worlds. Going forward, please be more mindful of how our work is depicted in print. Report. Let's see. Seeds, tons, processed, blah, 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 blah. Rendered completely useless due to technician error. None consumed, consumption not confirmed. 3, let's say garlic. 3 runes. Rats ate 3 tons of garlic? P.S. Double check this data, especially about the dandelions. It's clearly an error. How are we supposed to... What are we supposed to do with 440 tons of dandelions at Mars? Make dandelion wine? I don't know. To submit the archive... Project Hemlock has been halted and deemed unfit for further study. You are hereby informed that all materials pertaining to to Hemlock are to be cataloged as top secret under designation A2, organized and filed in the appropriate sections. Any further reference to it in other documents are to be redacted via the standard system. Please be especially mindful of information about any employees who were allegedly injured during the project. Delete the names of all casualties. Expert from Life magazine. Despite its secrecy, silver in Latin has already become the stuff of legends in a number of European and American publications. Journalists are surprised by its extremely small staff, its incredible training and equipment, and its name, which is very atypical of the Soviet Union. You gotta admit, compared to abbreviations like SMERSH and NKVD, it comes off as odd and clumsy. But, crying out loud. Rumors vary. The squad soldiers are describing either an enormous red-eyed bear who eats children or athletics blonde Superman, one look at whom would have driven Hitler to dissolve the Reich and admit the German Übermensch defeat. They are a mystery and will remain one, but we can say this much for certain. Silver is currently the best trained Special Forces squad on Earth. Given the Soviet Union's plan, it could become the best trained squad in the solar system before long. Archive Civilization, Comrade Sechenov, following the events in Bulgaria, Agent Blesnov and Plutonium have both returned in coma. They are in vegetative state and are not connected to the neural network. No signs of consciousness have been observed. Awaiting your orders. Okay, an article by Tom Wolfe. Your request for experts about the facility from foreign media. Washington Post, May 8, 1955. Article, The Soviet Union Still Framed, by Tom Wolfe. Universal robotization in the Soviet Union can be considered a most curious case of modern hypocrisy. Ignoring any populist questions about whether or not the robots that pass the Turing test have multiple personal identities, I'm merely pointing out how absurd and at the same time sinister the widespread use of this force is. Judge for yourself. A nation whose guideline is an ideology that embraces equality and strives to end the exploitation of workers and peasants by capital has now subordinated an entire army of soulless machines that can satisfy its every whim. I don't know anything about Collective 2.0, but I say the Soviet Union is capitalism 2.0 right large. The only question is when the robots will demand equal rights for themselves and how bloody the revolution will be. It is weird that they do have, essentially sentient robots. Acceleration of evolution. On the acceleration of evolution, despite all their talents and individual success achieved by the research assistants, there's a concern regarding an issue that, all predictable, can only be confirmed in practice. This problem is more profound than preparing seeds for inhospitable conditions on other planets. Unlike scientists, evolutionary mechanisms do not make predictions or evaluate risk, they simply function. Culling the weak and rewarding the strong. Dozens or even hundreds of factors will affect the growth and development of our cultures. So it makes sense to suggest that working with the genetics of our plants, we should begin by breeding them for faster growth and renewal rather than trying to foresee every minor detail about them. We just need to give evolution a shot in the arm and it'll do the rest for us. Which is how it's always been, by the way. Okay, time for 8 more terminals. Oh my god, this is a lot of fucking terminals. Hopefully they're quick. Okay, lecture by speaker. When I give talks in the Soviet Union and allied countries, I am often asked whether it makes sense to focus scientific progress on making fundamental changes to the human race. We could, for example, teach people to change the properties of their skin in order to make it more resistant to heat or cold, or regrow lost limbs like certain reptiles, or control their biochemistry on a basic level. In other words, to rephrase a well-known thesis, we should strive for evolution in the individual. From the room, skeptical laughter. My answer is no. I admit this is a defeatist attitude, but my objection does not lie in some bourgeoisie concept of a man as the principle of creation. We have access to powerful technology, and yet we should not alter ourselves to suit our environment. This would be a step backwards. Instead, we must perfect science in order to fully subjugate nature itself. Whether it be here on Earth or somewhere else. Club Minutes. Excerpt from Debate Club Minutes. Speaker 1. Maintaining the high level of technology Soviet science has achieved obviously requires people of profound intellect. That is why the fear that a situation could arise in which technology allows society to become stupider is irrational. Otherwise, the level of technology would be ultimately unsustainable. But if it threatens to divide mankind into different groups, a smaller group with big brains that does all the intellectual activity, and another massive group with tiny brains that either does the simplest jobs or does nothing at all, because machines do everything for them. This is a pretty gloomy future. But is it even possible? This is exactly why the population's ideological education needs to be our number one priority. Fuck! No topic. Get over here right now. Please, something wrong. Dumb and Dumber. Please change the work assignments for Y and M. Put them as far from each other as possible. Despite these employees' excellent professional qualities, their productivity plummets if they are able to converse with one another. Employees have been complaining about their loud laughter and inappropriate jokes. You should be ashamed of yourself. I'm shocked. While things at the facility usually shock me in a good way, this time I'm simply outraged. The latest innovations in analyzing the structure of the future have allowed your lab system to make predictions of incredible accuracy and importance. And what are they doing? That's right, they're logging into our systems to hear the latest music from the radio of the future. I have no intention of disparaging the achievements of this project. Hearing music that will not be written for 30 or 40 years is truly a scientific matter. But only for the layman. Your employees are men of science, not greasers in leather jackets and tight jeans. If anyone else comes up here to save a copy of the late... If anyone else comes here to save themselves a copy of the latest Billie Eilish song, I'll cut off access for a month. God, don't get me started on fucking Stitches. God, my sister, she would just love that song. It's a good song. Anyway, missing components. Despite the obvious importance of the entire archive for facility 3826, I have been unable to get authorization for additional shipments of superconductor material for over a year now. Before the accident, Comrade Zarkov promised to solve the problem via his personal channels. My question to you, Comrade Supervisor, is: do you have any such channels of your own? Could you perhaps solve this problem for me? If not, the entire system might go belly up someday. Okay, good. Archive conversation number 19. The agents test viewed impressive results. While immersed in limbo, this seemingly fragile young woman literally becomes an invincible fighter. The implications for training sabotage specialists, as well as our overall approach to secrecy, are enormous. The fighter's memory can be literally wiped without harming their skills or personality. The term sleeper agent will take on a whole new meaning very soon. Yeah, so that's somebody else was essentially doing what we did.
Nechayev has emerged from his year in rehab a new man, with new habits and behaviors. For example, he's become fond of a certain euphemism. Crispy critters.
Yep.
It all started after one of the medics described him and Blesna as crispy critters during his recovery. He was still in a coma at the time. He suddenly leaped out of bed and nearly strangled the medic to death. The staff subdued him by shouting, "We're under fire," after which Plutonium ducked for cover, hit his head, and passed out. Ever since then, crispy critters has become part of his vocabulary. Could it be an example of psychological imprinting?
Probably. Anyway. Okay, Comrade upgrade message number 7. Comrade Privla. Is there any way to automate cataloging on a software level? According to my calculations, I spend between 5 and 7% of the time it takes me to do paperwork filling in dates and numbers. As a result, I waste about 47 minutes every day, which adds up to about 1,264 or 60 minutes per work month, or about 21 hours, and that's 2.5 work days. Could be spending more efficiently. Have you lost your minds over there? Do something about this right away. P.S. I went to the psychologist for a checkup as requested. Total my sessions took 11 hours. About 2 of them were spent on smoke breaks. The psychologist found no deviation. Okay, you definitely focus on stuff. Alright, so that's what? 6 left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Got it. Hey, how much longer? Fuck! Creepy. Hi, Christina. I left 2 devices overnight in a something and a lighthouse. I usually use them to test speech-based inter-system communication protocols. I wanted them to exchange phrases, then keep going based on the progressive Turing method. Here are the results. Pretty creepy. I'll probably wipe one of them tonight.
Oh, you've got a very large data exchange sector, Beacon. I'd like to interface with it right now.
When I analyze the dimensions of your chassis, I experience an overload in my neurocomposite architecture, Betsy. My system's core processors have begun to consume a large quantity of electricity.
I demand that you interface with my system immediately and transmit all your data to me in large packets, Beacon.
That kind of connection can be dangerous, Betsy. You know, humans will see a digital sign of my presence. Please, can you wait while I activate the firewall?
No, Beacon, I don't want to wait any longer. Sorting your data through a firewall will make information exchange less pleasurable. Please accept my access protocol right away.
Quiet, Betsy. A scientist is approaching.
God damn it.
What do we have here? What the hell? Stop recording!
I have so much to say on that, but, yeah. What was it? What was that one quote? I like big innuendos. Okay, why VDNH? The museum. We still need to think about all the names, since terms come out naturally just like slang, but for now, here are orders regarding articles. We can use the following terms: Inagram or something system, a unified information field that can be accessed via computer terminal. Slide, a unit of informational space in the system. Try not to use the term page under any circumstances, it's unprofessional. Application, a small program that grants the user access to certain functions. Do not use the following terms. Social network. Soviet users do not have access to any network. Socialists or otherwise come up with something clear. Glitch. What kind of words is this anyway? It sounds like nonsense. Use error, malfunction, or some other normal world. Stylus. I keep saying this bourgeoisie faux Latin word. Use pen or light pen instead. Okay, goddamn. Okay, to submit to archive. Fucking hell. Okay, while designing the latest Android models, we have to focus not only on utilitarian tasks, but also commercial viability. Our products are exported all over the world, and they need to look and feel like something from the Soviet Union. In other words, we need to focus on what Americans call design. We spent a long time discussing which elements will be most recognizable when it comes to their names, designs, functions, then all these ballerinas, Natashas, such started showing up. Everything from a robot's appearance to its quality should scream made in the USSR. Okay, archived conversation number 25. Attention, the equipment manager. Provide me with 2 prototype ballerina bonnies and disconnect them from the Sentinel's network. Delete their AI modules. I need 2 blank robots without any control systems. Okay. Incorrect terms. God. Comrade, I've been seeing more sloppy use of terms in our publications again. Robot is a general term for any manufactured mechanism based on robotics. It's an automated device designed to perform various mechanical operations that act according to its previously established program. An android is a humanoid robot with various functions. Keep mixing up every robot that can communicate with an android. Please be more mindful of this. The term biorobot has been prohibited by Comrade Sechenov himself and may not be used in any way. Words like automaton, doll, and machine have no place in our publications. Fucking hell. There's so much fucking words. 6 more. Please be something. Fuck. Okay, about Nushkin. This is really cruel, Marita. I get it. Is a pig, but this is just unprofessional. What if he actually goes talk to the supervisor, or even worse, Sechenov, and starts talking about how his work is magically cataloging itself? Then, when they see who's doing it all and figure out it's just some nasty prank, what are you gonna tell him? That seduced you in Garga and wouldn't marry you, so you started sabotaging the lab? You need to stop. And if anyone asks me about this, I won't cover for you. It's happening again. I'm serious, Marita. It's happening again. My catalogs are splitting up and restructuring themselves on their own. I measured it. I got a spreadsheet. I think the entire archive is operating like collective, only separately. What if we accidentally created a self-learning system that can think and make decisions? I mean, with all the other insane stuff going on here, does that really sound like crazy? I'm trying to run a reverse Turing test on it. I haven't slept in 72 hours, but if I'm right, we're all getting a promotion. Sorry again about what happened last winter. Archive conversation number 25. Agent Blesina and Plutonium are extremely valuable employees. Saving their lives is top priority. I will perform this operation myself. Congratulations! On behalf of the facility management and myself personally, I would like to congratulate you all on a magnificent beginning to this reporting period. Oh god, this is going to be over an hour. Our close-knit team has proven yet again that a spirit of camaraderie and efficient teamwork can yield stunning results. In regard to the aforementioned, it is my pleasure to announce that this month every archive employee will receive a bonus, and in the interest of enlightenment, every employee will also receive complimentary tickets to the Horror House theatrical performance. Contact the venue for details. Thank you, comrades. Okay, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I hate this. Important message. Let it go. B2. Important message. Wait, what? Let's go. B2. Miss. A10. Miss. Give up already. B10. Are you nuts? Do you really think I can't see what you're doing from up here? Why are you using your workspace to play Battleship? They told me not to let the Kimla brothers work together, but I didn't listen. If I see this again, I'll keep one of you here and the other one transferred to the plant potatoes. Get back to work. I told you once and I told you 1,000 times, Dimitri. I don't want a new body. And it has nothing do with me putting on airs, as you put it. There's just no point. I'm much more productive in this state. It's simply more practical and useful for myself and for you. You already have your dolls following you around. Leave me be. Rough draft. Add some conclusions at the end. It's really dry. Just a little while ago, what if conversations were, at best, the purview of statisticians and analysts, depending on the topic in question. But today, thanks to quantum systems, predicting alternate histories has literally become a science. This allowed us to get a very accurate report on the history of the Soviet Union and World War II if the party had not approved Sechenov project to roboticize their troops in late 30s. The theatrical report has received designation SP at the Academy of Consequences. Stage 1, defeat. Due to the novelty of the technology and weak adaptations of our manufacturing capabilities, the robots turn out to be unable to resist the German military. Actually, technically, it's the German fucking army. The German army forces and initial casualties are colossal. The Soviet Union loses all its territory up to Moscow. That is what happened, except for the robots. There was no robots. Stage 2, regrouping. Towards the middle of the war, human casualties and pressure from the Reich become so great that the Red Army's only salvation lie in building more... That's not true. Building more advanced combat robots in order to make up for lost soldiers. The process of manufacturing new combat robots is reformed, enhanced in Urals and Siberia. Stage 3, respite. Since the Soviet Union's defeat and refusing to believe in upcoming robot upgrades, Allied soldiers or troops concentrate their forces and become more aggressive. Since they understand the Red Army will no longer be cannon fodder in the European War, the Reich halts its advance deep in the Soviet Union and switches to the Western Front, breaking out massive battalions of robotic troops with various functions, carry out highly effective sudden attacks, reclaiming or captured territory in a matter of weeks. In the winter, their mobility and lack of reliance on food and medicine gives the Soviet machines a massive advantage. Stage 5, even before the creation of the V-2 rockets and the failure of the Brown Plague, Soviet robots liberate most of Europe. Since the world's population is never reduced by illness, we find ourselves in a fragile world where a weakened Soviet Union is forced to rely on the might of its technology. Huh, that's interesting. Anyway, being a guy that likes to research World War II stuff, that's kind of interesting. Anyway, let's see. Are you cheating again? You sank my aircraft carrier. E2. You sank my submarine. D8. What are you, simple? If you got a hit at A10, there can't be anything at A or B10. Do you forget that you can't put ships right next to each other? Or is this going to be like that? I mean, in terms of battleship, you can. Are you nuts? Yeah, I know that. Archived conversation number 9. Vice is a psychological condition. In the Magnus Opus of the opium of the masses, the Bible, this is demonstrated clearly. If indirectly man learned of vice not after eating a mystical fruit, but after coming to know himself, the body dictates vice to us. We want to procreate, so we became perverts. We want to eat, so we steal money and food. We want pleasure, so we surround ourselves with senseless luxury. Man is not given to vice on its own. What pushes him towards it is his limited primitive shell, which requires food, sex, drugs, and care. Only the brilliance of pure intellectuals can illuminate mankind's path forward, because man is not a body, he is a way of thinking. Yeah, we're over an hour and 2 minutes. Okay, Radio of the Future, excerpt from the paper from... In response to those who are curious about the radio of the future, yes, we really can listen to radio broadcasts from the future. Literally, how does it work? If you read any of my previous papers, you'll find out. But if you weren't really interested in the technical, you aren't really interested in the technical details, are you? You're interested in what it can do for you. You want to know if you can buy a lottery ticket knowing that it will win or avoid a nuclear holocaust, am I right? It's not that simple. What we're hearing is a probable future. What could happen in 10, 30, or 50 years based on what's happening now. But we have never, I repeat, never heard the same broadcast twice. A week ago, the Soviet Union crumbled in 1989. Yep. I'm pretty sure that's real life. Hey Google. When was the collapse of the Soviet Union?
December 26, 1991.
Okay, it's off. But yeah. This morning we heard a presentation from General Secretary of the Communist Party from 1999. One day we intercepted an emergency message about the launch of nuclear missiles in 1976. I was horrified. Hey Google. Who was the man who saved the world? It's either gonna bring up Arkoff, Stanley Petrov. So there's essentially two people who have saved the world. There's fucking Stanley Petrov and Stanislav Petrov. Okay, so... Okay, it was 1983. So the other one was off by 2 years. This one was off by 5? No, that's like 7. Okay. Basically, there's been two guys from the Russian or from the Soviet Union who stopped the world from hitting midnight or the end of the world. One of them was during the Cuban Missile Crisis. I intend to get a whole script and a whole video out on that one. Basically, the guy had the option to say yes to arming a nuclear torpedo and said no. There's also a second aspect. I'm trying to find more reports, because I remember seeing something about this where basically he almost ended the world twice. He said no to arming the torpedoes, but there was also the aspect that they almost either fired a torpedo or even the nuclear torpedo at an enemy, at a U.S. destroyer, because they were under so much duress, blah blah blah. And then Stanley Petrov, he basically he was in charge of an early warning system. It detected 5 launches, but it was only 5 launches. So he was like, that's not. If the U.S. was going to destroy the Soviet Union, they would have fired more than 5. Anyway, the future does not exist yet. Please remember that. All we can hear is an echo of infinite quantumization multivariant and extract the most frequently repeated tendencies from it. What we will actually see tomorrow is entirely in our hands. To file with the archive, comrade... Oh, God. Do you seriously want me to get data on alternate timelines in which the Third Reich never invented the V2 rocket? You want to know how the world would be different? Okay, I'll tell you. It wouldn't. Do you know why? Because the invention of new weapons is called an arms race for a reason. If it's a race, that means someone has to come first. In our history, the Germans came in first, although it didn't particularly help them, but the Americans were nipping at their heels, as were we and the Brits. Yes, the V2 was an astonishing influence on missile design in the space program, but it was just a matter of time. Can you tell me who invented the radio? Was it Pavlov, Marcon, Hertz, Tesla? Do you know what's really interesting? What would have happened if the damn fascists hadn't invented that plague of theirs and mowed down half the world's population? From now on, don't bother the alternate prediction department with childish questions in the mode of who would win a fight, a shark or a bear? P.S. The bear, obviously. I don't know. In the sea, the shark would win. On land, yeah, the bear wins. Okay, there was 2 more. Please be quick. Okay, only 3, but okay. Final letter. Hypothetically speaking, thanks to today's discovery of supplementary by photon quantum entanglement, I can actually send this letter into the past. Say 30 years ago to myself at this very terminal. For an example, I can write a message to myself dated June 9th, 1955, saying, "Run! The robots have revolted! Save yourself!" Unfortunately, this is just a theory. We're actually quite far from the actually communicating with the past. So I'll carry the memory of that day until my death 63 years from now. I don't know if it's really that far.
After the incident, plutonium's brain was no longer suitable for a spark polymer extension. So I designed a similar polymer-based brain function extension for him called Voskhod. Cheriton, may he rest in peace, would be pleased to hear that his designs had not been wasted.
Okay, review number 500. Plutonium is recovering following neural adjustment and the installation of the module. He has no memory of his wife, the events in Bulgaria. Oh, so we had a wife. Or any of the other data you indicated. He is extremely tenuous psychologically and emotional state. As an active silver agent, he's already fit for duty, awaiting your orders. P.S. Unfortunately, during a key phase of the adjustment, an employee expressed sympathy with the agents, describing them as returning from their deal as Christian critters. This expression has since become an inextricable part of the agent's psychorhythmic and emotional background. If necessary, we could perform another adjustment in order to fix this linguistic oddity, but it would take time. And that was where the other one said, don't give a shit about his, why the fuck he keeps saying that. Okay, this is the final one. How fucking... Oh my god, that one's gonna be fun. That one too. That one three. Yep. Okay. Are you willing to die? Are you willing to die, though? And you're a man, speaker. Despite the much progress, one fact remains. Flying to the Red Planet is a risky, dangerous proposition. Who are the people who will bring the light of humanity to Mars for all of us? That's going to be Markiplier. If you remember correctly, if there was 100% chance of dying, he would go into space. Anyway, sorry. I think that the first trips to Mars will be very, very dangerous. The risk of lethal outcome will be high, but it can't be helped. Are you willing to die? Then you're our man. How would you describe the mission? I think it's the most inspiring thing I can possibly imagine. Life should be something more than just solving everyday problems. When you wake up in the morning, you should think about the future with ecstasy. Fucking, you know what I mean. You should feel inspired with love and love life. Short-sightedness at request. I've reviewed the compilation of absurd quotations from bourgeois figures that simply have become utterly trounced by progress and the Soviet science. A telephone has too many shortcomings to be seriously considered as means of telecommunications. William Orton, president of the Western Union, which that obviously did change. The Americans have need of telephone, but we do not. We have plenty of messenger boys. Sir William Price, chief engineer of the British Postal Office. Yep, that definitely changed. Fooling around with alternating currents just to waste time. Nobody ever used it. It's too dangerous. Thomas Edison, get rid of it. We don't want to make fun of Edison. Was also changed. The wireless music box has no imaginable commercial value. Who would pay for a message sent to nobody in particular? David Sarnoff, partners in response to his request to invest in the radio, mentioned the radio was invented by Alexander Pavlov. Probably any of them, for fuck's sake. 1926. While theoretically and technologically television may be feasible, commercially and financially it's an impossibility. Lee DeForest, get rid of it. Our scientists don't care about commercial or financial success. 1932, there is no basis whatsoever on which to suggest that nuclear power will ever be possible. It would mean that man has learned to split the atom. Albert Einstein, very good, but make sure Einstein actually said it. Otherwise it'll be like his riddle. Oh my god, I think that might be a reference to all the fucking quotes that are like, about to go destroy this thing. Albert Einstein, 19-something. Because you always see them, they're like just joke comments. They're like, what's this bitch up to? Albert Einstein. People need to stop misquoting me on stuff. Albert Einstein. A rocket will never be able to leave the Earth's atmosphere. New York Times. This one is simply magnificent. Their very first issue. The working man always has been and always will be, but the robot is nothing more than a flash in the pan. Henry Ford. Television won't be able to hold on to any market it captures after the first 6 months. People will soon get tired of staring at a plywood box every night. Daryl Zucker, producer and one of the founders of 20th Century. Not sure about this one. Don't publish it unless the party sorts out the relationship to entertainment programming. 1949 wires a calculator like The first computer today is equipped with 18,000 vacuum tubes and weighs 30 tons. Computer in the future may only have 1,000 vacuum tubes and perhaps weigh only 1.5 tons. Popular Mechanics, good, but translate the name Popular Mechanics into Russian instead of leaving it in English. There is practically no chance communications space satellites will be used to provide better telephone, telegraph, television, or radio service inside the United States. T. Craven, FCC Commissioner, underscore the fact that maybe they can't do it, but we sure can. There's no reason for any individual to have a computer in their home. Ken Olsener, founder of Digital Equipment Corp. An unknown feat. Unknown Feat drafted an article. For a long time, Andrew has been spoken with contempt and dismay in Soviet scientific circles as a capitalist and idealist who fled the Soviet Union, vocal critic of the party's authority and the ideals of communism. It was obvious that a good relationship with him was simply impossible. However, later, when Telener grew disillusioned with American ideals, his rhetoric changed, and his relationship with the motherland changed along with it. It goes without saying that this mood led to a hue and cry in the West, genuine glee in Homeland. Nowadays, Audrey has successfully developed his deep-sea dwelling project with the aid of underwater engineers and is considered a true friend of Soviet science and Facility 33826. Thanks for all the fish! Needless to say, large-scale projects to conquer outer space and colonize planets are laudable and worthy of respect. Man has always reached for the stars, but let's be honest, there's nothing out there. Space is cold, empty, and hospitable without any hidden mysteries. All that awaits us, there are resources in the satisfaction of mankind's ego. God, an hour and fucking 16 minutes reading this shit. And what was it? It was like 20 minutes, and then it's been like fucking 50 minutes just reading. Our home is another matter entirely. I'm referring to Earth, or more precisely, the ocean. We know less about the depths of the ocean than we do about the dark side of the moon. According to available data, only 2 to 5% of the world's ocean have been explored. Evolution can't help us in space, but underwater it can reveal our true potential. In this article, you will learn about potential benefits of exploring and conquer the ocean. To put it bluntly, what's the point of flying to the far reaches of space when our own home holds more secrets than any other planet? Archive Conversation number 38. Michael, I've been receiving very ambiguous reports about what's going on at the theater. If even a portion of what my informants have been telling me is true, I'd like to conduct a certain experiment. Give them free rein and curtail any security measures. I want to know if even Soviet citizens and faculty employees are capable of moral feelings. After 2 months, find an excuse for us to visit the place. Tell them that has achieved amazing results and we want to celebrate it. Invite VIPs. I want to see it with my own eyes. Evolution or revolution. The time has come to acknowledge that we are careening into the future at an amazing speed. Our scientific machines is running at full capacity, and the most talented Soviet citizens are working day and night to advance the cause of progress. But what of evolution? It remains in the distant past. 1917 revolution demonstrated that it was possible to tear down the old and erect the new in its place. The same goes for a decrepit monarchist phenomenon of evolution. Now man is not just the pinnacle of creation, but a creator himself. He has the ability and right to alter himself in accordance with his desires. Gills for divers, wings for first responders, flame retardant skin for firemen. This is just a small example of what awaits us in the future. We are no longer grist for the mill of natural selection. We are natural selection from comrades Sechenov. Lecture to blah 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 blah. Okay, so we read it all. God damn, there's so much fucking text. I'm very glad we read it all, except we're not going to be able to continue this episode. I'm going to end it off here. God, that was such fucking... That was a lot of text. Anyway. It does seem interesting because we found out quite a few things. One, apparently P3 has a wife. His name was Plutonium, with a bunch of other names, so that's intriguing. And anyway, thank you guys for tuning in, all that jazz. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and we'll see you guys next video. Other than that, have a great day. Where's the button? Right